Instagram teen accounts have automatic protections for what teens see and who can contact them, plus time management tools. And Instagram will continue adding built-in safety features to help create age-appropriate experiences. Learn more about teen accounts and Instagram's ongoing work to protect teens online at instagram.com/teen accounts.
Is Sam Darnold one of the greatest gingers of all time? Greatest ginger football players ever?
That title has to go to Andy Dalton. Doesn't even matter if
Wait. Sam Darnold got a Super Bowl ring.
Being the greatest ginger football player is not just about performance on the field. It's about performance of your hair and the flair of the hair. Dalton has the most gingerest ginger hair to ever ginger, and he has the beard to go. And he has the name Red Rocket. He is the ginger of all gingers to ever ginger.
The ginger final boss. I thought it was going to be quiet this offseason. The biggest thing this offseason that I haven't heard that happen yet is why the Super Bowl winning quarterback ain't got a new contract yet, Q.
That is interesting. I'm sure that's coming down the line, and I can't see any alternative Seattle would favor for Darnold. So I'm sure it's just how many years do they want to sign him? I mean, let's be honest. Sam Darnold, even though he just is coming off a Super Bowl win, I don't think anybody is going to call him elite at quarterback. And maybe the general consensus is wrong. Maybe he should be in that upper tier of quarterbacks of the top 4 to top 5. But I think Sam Darnold is respected around the league, but there's no one haven't seen anybody venture to call him elite or even knocking at the door of elite.
Do you think this is like an anti-ginger movement coming out of Seattle? Like, why are they not giving him a contract?
I don't know. Seattle did not offer me a workout when I was in my football playing days either. So maybe it is an anti-ginger thing. It could be. You just win a Super Bowl with the quarterback. He performs well. I believe Sam Darnold was named to the Pro Bowl. I think it would be easy.
He was.
He's not even 30 years old yet. You lock him in for 5 years, right? But maybe Seattle feels like we've moved on from Russ and Geno outperformed him the next year. We moved on from Geno. Darnold outperformed him. Maybe Seattle was just saying they don't need a elite quarterback to win Super Bowls. Whether you feel like Russell was elite in his career at his peak or not, that's up to you. That's user discretion. But he was not elite when they won that first Super Bowl. I think we can all agree with that.
No, I would not call Russell Wilson elite when they went to the Super Bowl that first year.
Yeah. So Seattle's won 2 Super Bowls with this formula of being carried by a secondary and running game.
You're right, though. Seattle is they've been a little weird to start this offseason. They win the Super Bowl, then they put the team up for sale, even though it's quietly up for sale.
The Super Bowl
long
MVP
before.
doesn't have a new deal either.
No. Segue. Kenneth Walker. They're not tagging him. He's available. He's for the streets, as they say. It's a lot of moving parts going on in this NFL offseason before even free agency is even officially started. But we are a few days post-Combine, and I did want to talk Combine majority of this show, but damn it, Q, like we said, the football is going to football.
The news you can use and the breaking news that I did not want to hear today was delivered. And I had to check several sources to make sure that it was not fake. And indeed, it's not fake. I'm waiting for Drew Dalman to text me back. He has not texted me. Text him like 15 times, too.
You got to respect yourself, Q. You got to get your dignity back. After the 4th text, you just got to call it. You got to call it off like, hey, you know what? They're not going to screenshot me. They're not going to screenshot me as being a bugaboo. I can't do that. 15? I know we need answers out of Drew Dalman, and so far, he has not given any. But for those unaware, Drew Dalman, age 27, surprisingly retired from football.
After his first Pro Bowl season, I think Dalman was snubbed maybe once or twice before. But after your first Pro Bowl season, I don't think there's any debate that Dalman is among the top 5 centers in the game. At 27, just going to your first Pro Bowl, you've got one of the ascending talents that you're snapping to in Caleb Williams. You got one of the premier offensive minds coaching your team. This is the time where you think about man, I want to get that gold jacket and go to the Hall of Fame. I've had a productive 5-year career. I just went to the Pro Bowl. I'm 27 years old. But, Stanford guys are too smart. They don't want the CTE. For some reason, they still want their brains. And I don't think a brain is necessary in this country. I mean, look at who runs the country right now. Brains are overrated. Thinking is overrated. You don't need that brain, Drew. All you need is money, capitalism, war.
Yeah, I agree. He only did 1 year of his 3-year deal with the Bears. Well, 43 years, $42 million contract he signed with the Bears.
That's even strange now that I think about it. A 26-year-old, you only signed a 3-year deal. A young center. Center is one of those positions where you could play well into your 30s. It's as much about IQ, and they're not the premier athletes on the offensive line. They're the thinkers of the offensive line.
You called it out. He's one of the top 3 to 5 centers in the league. One of the unsung heroes in why this offensive line was as good as it was. You speak about the symbiotic relationship a quarterback and a center have. Caleb had shouted him out right after the news came out. Joe Tooney, Darnell Wright, they got all the praise on the offensive line. Even Ozzie Trapillo, from stepping in and being a rookie surprise, he got a lot of adulation as well. But Drew Dalman, he was one of those unsung guys that just came to work and did the dirty work.
You didn't hear his name called, and that's the good thing.
No. Mm-hmm. Especially for our offensive line. You said it earlier in our group chat. We just got the offensive line figured out. We just got it fixed, and now we got to do this. The two most important spots on the offensive line, left tackle. It's going to be tough. I mean, there hasn't been any reason, as you said. We've reached out to Drew Dalman for comment. He has not responded to anybody just yet. Just sayonara. I'm getting like Bruce Banner in the 1970s Hulk. I'm on the street. I mean, I'm walking up the highway. I'm doing like this. Hitching a ride. He just out of there. So it's all speculation right now as to why he decided now was the time to go. But whatever it is, we wish him the best. And God damn it, we could have used you for the rest of your football career.
Is he Gen Z or is he on the border of millennial? No, he's not. He's not a millennial, is he? He's cut off. He's in that Gen Z.
Yeah, he's an older Gen Z. Because if you think about generations in a 15 to 18-year gap, a 27-year-old would be about 98, 99. Yeah, he's a Gen Z.
Yeah, they're weird. They're weird.
Yeah, Q. You already say you don't need a brain, and now he's weird for his generation is weird.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with this generation.
You're not wrong.
They don't want the glory.
You're not wrong.
You want to retire with all your body parts. First of all, you don't walk away from the game; you limp from it.
That is facts.
You see the GOATs of the NBA. Jordan limped out of here at 40, knees not working, ribs broken on a lottery team. LeBron is out here being a traffic cone, still playing good ball, but just not doing no defensive end. I'm sorry, Rick. I don't mean to step on anybody's toes over there, the NBA portion of the frustrated Chicago sports fan, but yeah, I don't know. Us millennials, we went out on our shield. Evander Holyfield had to get his ear bit off. His face is permanently swollen. He can't even put together a logical thought. They had to drag him out the ring. Mike Tyson's still out there getting punched on by Disney kids. That's the way we were brought up. Somebody's going to drag me from this podcast. I plan to be old, senile, and full of dementia, shitting myself at the old people's home at this podcast before I get drug off.
Full of dementia and full of takes, huh?
Just like our president.
So there is one small sliver of hope. Not hope, but I guess there is one little ray of good news coming out of the Drew Dalman retirement. The Bears are looking for some cap savings somewhere. Drew Dalman cap hit this season was going to be $14 million.
Well, if you sign Tyler Lindenbaum, you're going to spend even more. Because Tyler, of the 3 to 5 centers that are maybe better than Dalman in this league, Tyler is one of them. The 25-year-old is a 3-time Pro Bowler. I like Dalman's fit with Ben Johnson's scheme because he's probably a little bit more fluid of an athlete. But Linderbaum is probably better overall and more of a bully in the run game. And he's probably going to cost more than Dalman.
Damn, Linderbaum from the Ravens, right?
Yeah, and they're not going to tag him. and doesn't look like they're going to be able to afford to bring him back.
That's okay. We shall see what the Bears decide to do. This is just one more thing on the plate of Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson. But if they've shown anything the last year, maybe 2 off seasons, they know how to cook.
Let him cook.
We'll talk later about incoming rookies because maybe they can find a rookie that can step right in the center. They found Ozzie Trapillo. Maybe they can find a center. We'll talk more about that in the combine portion of this episode, but let's stick to more NFL news. So you brought up Linderbaum as a potential free agent. There's also the trade market out there that's already getting hot and heavy. There's players who didn't get tagged, Kenneth Walker, to name a few. Our good buddy, King David Montgomery, he got traded yesterday. David Montgomery was traded for 3 picks and a player.
That is crazy to get that for a veteran running back.
It is crazy to get that for a veteran running back, and the Bears had a quarterback on the market and couldn't get a fifth. I will forever be mystified at how that goes. But to keep it local, the thing that's important that you get out of the combine is all the business deals, the handshakes, the talking between agents and teams. For the news coming out of the combine for the Bears, Von Dexter, Tremaine Edmonds, Tyson Bagent, and DJ Moore all have trade markets. People are talking to the Bears about trying to get them guys. Q, out of those 4 names, I mean, first, who shocks you the most as having a trade market?
It would be Tremaine Edmonds for the fact that I don't think he had a strong season. I think he makes plays. It's strange because he had a lot of interceptions. I believe he led all linebackers in interceptions, but I don't think he's particularly great in coverage. He understands where to be in zone, and he's long, and he reacts well. But as far as man coverage, he's not particularly good. He hasn't been very good in the run game. And not to dog him too much because I think he's an NFL starter at linebacker. But he's getting paid. He's getting paid what you would expect out of a Pro Bowl player at that linebacker position. So that's why it surprises me. And then in addition to that, I think I think even if he isn't traded, he's not going to be on the 2026 Bears regardless. You're going to be a cap casualty. So that's why I'm surprised he has a trade market because I would think teams would just want to wait for him. But I think the biggest thing with Tremaine is when he's cut, he'll land with the team, and he'll probably, if he has this choice, he'll probably try to go to a contender. So I believe, if teams like the Raiders or linebacker needy teams who aren't in position to contend this year, if they want Tremaine Edmonds, they would have to trade for him. So maybe that's where the market extends for because I really was shocked that he has a trade market with that contract.
I agree with you. Tremaine Edmonds having it's I don't want to say curious.
And then you're talking about off-ball linebacker, and off-ball linebackers have been devalued over the years. They've become like running backs. You could pick a good one up round 2, 3, or 4. So that's why it's not a premium position. That's what makes it even more shocking with him.
The thing, okay, Tremaine Edmonds, I want to be clear about this. Tremaine Edmonds is still a good player. He's still young, he's still athletic, and he's got a good linebacker body. He has the instincts. But we've said this for over 2 years now. For everything that he's getting paid, and for as good as he is on paper, it doesn't show up on tape. You don't see him making the plays at the line of scrimmage. You don't see him making the plays behind the line of scrimmage. You don't see him making plays anywhere. I mean, he's decent in coverage.
Yes.
He's a good Mike. But when he got injured this season and his backup stepped in, DeMarco Jackson, he jumped off the tape. He jumped off the field.
Especially in run defense, where you would miss Tremaine is, like you said, he's a good player. I don't want to devalue him too much. And I think one of the best aspects of Tremaine won't show up necessarily on film or in the stat sheet because you see the adjustments to the line of scrimmage. He's inexperienced. He's only 27, but I think this is his 8th year. He came into the league at 9. He was drafted at 19. So his first training camp, he was 20 years old, one of the youngest players in the league. So I think a lot of the things that Tremaine does and brings to the table is the experience on the field, being a quarterback on the field. which is cool and all. And I think that's necessary. But I think we just need more production at the linebacker position. And Ryan Pace, one of the things he said at the combine was on defense, they got to get faster. Like you said, he's a decent athlete, but I think they're looking for a little bit more juice at that linebacker position. Because you saw, and you pointed this out a few times, TJ Edwards was absolutely toast in man coverage against running backs. And TJ has great instincts as well. He's another guy who's seen it all, been through the wars, been on good competitive playoff teams. But you see the Vikings continuously, even the Packers have done it. They want to get TJ ISO'd up. They love to get our linebackers ISO'd up against running backs and expose them. So I think we got to get faster at that linebacker position.
I think that's where the Bears can save some money. Tremaine Edmonds, the Mike, you said this, off-ball linebackers have been devalued. I think linebackers in general have been devalued. I don't think there's no necessary reason to spend a lot of money on that position group. I think you can rotate these guys in. If DeMarco Jackson, and this is no slight to the DeMarco Jackson, no slight. What I'm about to say is not meant to be in a pejorative. If a guy can step right in and be the green dot and not have been a linebacker or not have been practice team most of the season, special teams most of the season.
I don't think he started off in the off season with the Bears. I think he
did not.
Yeah.
If he can step in and be green dot and make an impact, I ain't gonna say successful, but make an immediate impact in high stakes and high stakes games, big games, national TV games. I mean, that's the biggest reason right there. Like, hey, we can bring down our financial responsibility in the linebacker room. There's some other players. I'm gonna keep it with the Bears 1 second. So you already said Tremaine Edmonds. I think there's another player who has a trade market that is shocking to me. And it's not because of who he is. It's because of how much reportedly people are willing to pay for him. Tyson Bagent, step down. Come to the front of the room.
I'm not even going to ask questions. Offer me a third or a reported second. I'll pack Tyson's bags myself.
Tyson ain't got to do nothing. He can put his hair into a man bun. He can put on his loafers. He can go right to the airport. He ain't got to touch a bag. Me and you, we got that. We pack it all. We gonna put them stuffs in the box neatly and go take it right to FedEx. Hey, your stuff will be at your new destination as soon as you land,
Good luck.
Boy. A third round pick? Brian Pose.
That is an easy pull the trigger. I hope this isn't a thing where Ryan Pose is overthinking or overvaluing or haggling, because I don't know if you remember. I know you remember because you absolutely hated the Velus Jones pick from the minute Velus was picked in Chicago. 2 training camps ago, people were offering a pick for Velus, and Pose said no, and had me sipping a little bit of that Kool-Aid. And man, Velus can be a dangerous weapon. And then Velus saw the ball hit him off the face mask in the opening game, and we got nothing for him. Nothing for him. If you can get something for Tyson Bagent, and I know there's a lot of fans that love Tyson Bagent, and you know what? He's grown on me too. I think he's good in the quarterback room. I like the evolution in his game that I've been able to see in the preseason. We have not seen in the regular season because, let's be honest, the small sample size we got in the regular season, that guy looks like a third quarterback. What we saw in this 4-game sample size. But here's the thing. Your franchise quarterback is Caleb Williams. Everything goes right. You're not going to see Tyson Bagent again next year. And if you got to see Tyson Bagent for an extended amount of time, guess what? The season's a dud. You're not winning anything. And if Caleb Williams does get hurt, I don't want Tyson Bagent out there. I want somebody out there that's going to get us a top 5 pick. I don't want to win 8 or 9 games. We're not at that point of our rebuild. So we're not rebuilding at all, but there's no reason. There's no reason to be a middling franchise. Shout out to the Bulls. There's no reason to be middling. I would say shout out to the Sox, but they're not even, Lord. Shout out Harry and JJ3, because to be able
don't shout them out yet. Don't shout them out yet, because what you're finna say has not been proven to be true. I need to see it. I need to see it in the studio first. But go on.
But to be able to cover that team and to put on that smile face every time when you get in front of a mic, it's just amazing. That is amazing because that team is uninspiring to say the least. But yes, if we're out here,
JJ3 don't smile.
huh? You're right. He doesn't smile.
JJ3 don't smile.
He generally complains. If you remember how Kobe was sitting and celebrating that championship, that would be JJ3 if the White Sox ever win another World Series or the Bears win a Super Bowl. He would sit there angry with the trophy.
You say something that's exactly my sentiments. There's a reason why you want to keep Tyson Bagent around, because in case there is something that goes wrong with Caleb, God forbid he gets hurt or anything like that, you want to have somebody who wants to step in, knows the offense, and can keep the ship afloat. You want somebody you want continuity in that room more than in any other position room. But no, the fuck we don't. If Caleb gets hurt, it shit's a wrap. Pack it up. Let's start playing for next season. Adam Silver's trying to get rid of tanking in the NBA. We love tanking in the NFL.
If you're not going to be in the playoffs, get a top 10 pick.
Yes, that shit is that is a lottery ticket.
Listen,
you do not give away lottery tickets.
Our last 3 top 10 picks, for reference, is Colston Loveland, Rome Odunze, Caleb Williams, and Darnell Wright. Our last 4. One is a special quarterback. One is an all-pro tackle. One is one of the brightest tight ends of the game. And Rome Odunze was among the league leaders in touchdown scores until he started getting banged up. If I'm not winning, give me a top 10 pick. I like my odds with the people in Hallis Hall drafting. So, yeah. Now, if Caleb is gone for 2 games, yeah, I'd love to have Tyson Bagent. But you got to look at the value system of a second or third round pick. Those are guys that could be starters in this league. I'm going to take a starter over a guy that we probably won't see every time. Caleb hasn't missed a game. I'm going to gamble on getting an impact player.
Yeah.
I don't even know why we have to make this a discussion, but I've heard.
I don't know why either. I mean, that's exactly what I'm struggling with. Like, Ryan, what are you doing, bro? If these reports are true, bro. See, you mentioned the Bulls. The biggest thing the Bulls messed up. Shout out to Rick and Z at Chicago Bulls podcast. They messed up by not striking when the iron's hot. You didn't trade Kobe and the rest of them when their value was high. Levine too. You let them get hurt, and then you had to take second-round picks, pennies on the dollar. If Tyson Bagent is worth a third right now, you do not let him turn into a Justin Fields. You don't let him turn into a fifth. You don't let Kyler Murray enter the free agent pool before you can trade him off. You don't let Malik Willis get signed before you get rid of Tyson. You make sure Tyson is gone first. You get everybody's best offer now.
Tua and Kyler got to get cut. Nobody's trading for them with those contracts.
Exactly.
And there are a number of teams. I do kind of understand why the trade market is what it is. Tyson is young. Tyson is mobile. Tyson is thought of highly around the league. And he comes from a Ben Johnson offense. And there is a lot of teams who have no idea who's going to be under center next year. I mean, the Jets, no clue. The Steelers, no clue. The Cardinals, no clue. Dolphins, no clue. The Raiders it looks like they're going to draft Fernando Mendoza. The Browns look like they're going to go with Shador, but I don't know if that's a stable situation. There's so many other situations where teams aren't happy with it. Hey, what are the Vikings going to do? Are they going to run it back with J.J. McCarthy? So, yeah, exactly. Strike while the iron is hot. Do not let that value decrease. Next year brings another wave of quarterbacks. And again, what good does a backup serve you? You can't play 2 of them.
And the biggest reason why you want to strike while the iron is hot, and I'm going to just keep it a buck. Again, not as long as you're a Bear, I'm a fan of you. And this is not to be in the pejorative, but we've seen Tyson Bagent play.
And here's the thing. If you see him again and he looks like the Tyson Bagent, you're not going to get any pick for him.
Get rid of him now. Get rid of him.
The 4th round, too low.
No.
That's what I said.
We've seen him play. He is not a starting quarterback in this league.
And
not at all.
And if I recall, he was undrafted, right?
Yes.
Then you won. All you can do when you take players, at the end of the day, every player is an asset because very few are going to retire in this uniform. So what you want to do is you want to get rid of them while their value is highest, if you can. The great Bill Belichick said it's better to get rid of a guy a year too early than a year too late. And if a guy isn't a core member, if he's not a franchise quarterback or a young edge rusher or a young tackle, the best you can do is get more back than what you spent on him. I would take almost any pick for Tyson. Except I wouldn't take a seventh rounder because I feel like what we're not improving the team getting a seventh. I wouldn't take a sixth rounder, but you could talk me into a fifth. If it's at the top of the fifth, I'll take a fourth.
I'm packing his bags up for a four. But you know what? Yeah, shout out to Bill Belichick. He's always been smart. He's always been ahead of the curve. Get rid of a player too early than too late. And he does that on the football field, and he's doing it in his personal life. He's getting his baddies years too early rather than years too late. I honor that.
Yeah. Smart man.
Other players that's on the trade, that's rumored to be on the trade block. Obviously, Max Crosby. We'll talk about that in a second. But in our division, Minnesota Vikings, Javon Hargrave and Aaron Jones, they're going to be traded at some point. They're going to be cut before when the new league year starts next week.
If they cut Javon Hargrave, I'll take a flyer.
Easily. But here's the name that can really help us out. Now, Max Crosby, everybody knows the deal with this. We talked about it on 2 episodes already. The Bears are the favorites to get him. I think 2-1. I think they have better odds to get Max Crosby than the Raiders do right now.
Yeah.
But obviously, the Raiders feel like they can get a Micah Parsons type deal. They are dead set on 2 first rounds and a player.
I don't think they're going to get that.
I will hope they don't get it from the Bears.
Not from us, yeah.
Max Crosby, great football player. I'm going to leave it at that. Shout out to Tiff. But I am not willing to – I would not be happy if the team gave up 2 firsts and a player for Max Crosby.
Max 4 years younger, by the way, when they made that. Michael's 25. Max will be 29. I can't give you 2 firsts for a non-quarterback that's 29.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and coming off, knee issues top of that. And it speeds up our clock. We are on the Super Bowl clock if you go get Max Crosby, which is not inherently a bad thing. You want to be the hunted. Don't run away from the smoke. However, let's say Ryan Post is listening to this podcast and he says, you know what, you're right. 2 firsts and a player is a bit much for Max Crosby. What about Kayvon Thibodeau out of New York? Word on the streets is the Giants are listening to trade offers for him as well. He's a former top 5 draft pick. He's on a strong defensive front with Brian Burns and Abdul Carter, who, in my opinion, both are better pass rushers than Thibodeau. Thibodeau's no slouch. We've played the Giants last year. We saw what type of pressure all 3 of them guys can cause. They were
didn't Darnell Wright take that guy and
it was Brian Burns he threw.
Okay, it was Brian Burns. Okay, I knew it was.
Yeah,
I think it was 2 of them. I think he pancaked Abdul Carter. Too.
He did.
Okay.
He hit. I don't know if he did it in that game, but we know he did it in college. He put Abdul through the map. I don't want to say through the matches, but he beat up Abdul Carter before.
Okay. Yeah, don't say he put him through the mattress. We don't want Darnell being in Epstein files. Release the files.
Well, he did put him on an island. He did put him on an island.
Okay, he's on an island. Release them files. Who was being freaky on that island? We need to see who was being freaky. Unredact that stuff. We want to see who was over there freaky on that island, and they need to be sitting in a cell next to R. Kelly.
below the R. Kelly cell.
You're right. They need to be in the basement.
So Thibodeau, his 5th-year option is up this year. Is worth just under $15 million. $15 million. Q, this is a unique situation. So I think 1, obviously, he's cheaper than Max Crosby. 2, he's younger than Max Crosby. 3, I think you can actually make the argument that he's better than Max Crosby. For 1, I think he's more athletic. For 2, he's very good at pass rush and playing a run. It wouldn't take as much to get him from the Giants as it would Max Crosby because it had that name cachet. That's the key. It makes all the sense for the Bears and the Giants to be playing, to be in each other's inbox right now because 1, the Bears have a a redundancy of talent in a wide receiver room. The Giants could use an actual alpha wide receiver, right? I'm not going to say any names. The Bears could use pass rushers. The Giants have a redundancy in pass rushers. Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, both are better than Kevin Thibodeau. It makes all the sense for both of them to make this trade. We've seen teams in this league already when they stack up too much talent in one room, put too much financial resources in one room. Shout out to the Cincinnati Bengals. We see how that does that equal any type of success on the football field. You got to spread that money out. It makes all the sense in the world for the Bears and the Giants to get this done. DJ Moore has a cap hit of $28 million. Kevin Thibodeau coming in for $15 million on a fifth-year option. For somebody at Kevin Thibodeau's, at this point in his career, he's not demanding $30 million a year. Not at his spot. So what do you think his AAU?
Kevon is coming off a down year where he ended the season on injured reserve. He's now, this year will be 3 seasons removed from his 11.5 sack season. So, the NFL is a league where, what have you done for me lately? Now, in Kayvon Thibodeau's defense, he is, like you said, he's extremely athletic. He is 6'5". The arms were at the combine 33 and 1/8. Wingspan 6'7", ran a 4.58 40, broad jump 9 feet 11. This guy's a tremendous athlete. Bench press 27 times. So, being that he's a first round pick, he has been a starter his entire career, but he's underperformed. You're going to be looking at a contract north of what Dale signs and a little bit south of what Montez Sweat signs. So if you were to re-sign him, I think a fair would be, I think Dale got 55 and Montez got like 95 to 100. You're going to be looking at about 70 million for Kayvon if you sign him to a long-term deal. Now, maybe Kayvon, being 25, wants to say, hey, give me, I got the fifth year, you're picking that up. Maybe extend me a year or two after that and let me back onto the open market before 28, where you can cash in on a longer deal, and get some of that new TV money and get a 5-year deal. So with Kayvon, I think maybe you have him play on that 1 year, that fifth year, and prove it. Or if you want to sign him immediately after you trade him, you offer him 70 to 80 million. That's up to him whether he wants to bet on himself and go back into the free market or get what he's worth. But that's what I would predict his worth would be. And as far as trade value, we know the Giants want to move on from him. We know they have to move on from him. We also know bringing in a new front office. With new head coach, what is the first thing most head coaches and most GMs want to do when they get to a new team? They want to get their guys in there, or they want to get guys that fit their philosophy. How do you get that? Free agency and the draft, particularly the draft. So you got to think that Harbaugh does want to get more picks. So I think you can get Thibodeau on a discount, 3rd or 4th round pick for him. I've heard some people suggest even maybe a 5th rounder. Hey, if they want a 4th or 5th from me, that's a no-brainer. I could be talked into a 3rd. Maybe you give me back a future 5th or 6th. I mean, the upside is there.
Dude, trade it now. Get that 3rd. Get New York on the phone and bring Buddy in. You can have this 3rd we just got for Tyson. In fact, in the NFL, they owe us a 3rd, so we don't get that from them because we appealing that. They owe us 2 3rds. We gonna get that from them. We appealing it. We gonna win that because
Pace didn't help with our appeal. He got to stop talking. Did you hear what he said at the combine? Ocho and Shannon got on him today about it. He finds it strange that the NFL has the deal for minorities getting hired. And he said, I know the Chiefs got picks for me, but he finds it strange. And that was just an odd comment to make about those picks. So yeah, Shannon and Ocho got on him a little bit. So I don't know if Pace was saying that he needs to clarify those comments. I don't know if he was trying to make a all lives matter type thing, but Shannon and Ocho said it's strange that the NFL doesn't have more minorities in a position of authority in NFL. So we got to talk to Pace about that. Like, what did you mean?
Pose.
Sorry.
Okay. We gonna get them picks. I am confident that the NFL gonna say, you know what, we messed up. We gonna run you them picks. And then we gonna run them picks right to New York. And we gonna get Kevin Thibodeau. And we gonna get him for a contract that's cheaper than DJ Moore is on right now. And that's how it all works out, Q.
Are you in Atlanta right now?
Yes.
You need to march down there to the Falcons headquarters and tell them cut the crap. Because Ian Cunningham, Ian Cunningham is your GM. Just stop it. Just stop with the Matt Ryan stuff. Matt Ryan ain't done nothing in nobody's front office at all. And you gonna tell me, come on, man, close that loophole. I need you to march down there right now. Get off this podcast and tell the Falcons cut the crap, and we need our 2/3 from the league.
I'm gonna go right over there to Flowery Branch and holler at them right after the Magic City game on Monday. I'm on that. I'm putting that right on my list.
Please do. Don't get distracted down there in Magic City either.
But here, you mentioned this is where you would see a potential contract would be in between Montez Sweat and Dayal. So Montez Sweat, just for reference, he signed a 4-year, $98 million contract with the Bears. His base salary is $20,900,000. Workout bonus would take him over to $21,000. Take him over to $21 million. His cap hit is $25 million. Dead cap at $8 million on the third league day, which is next week. $1 million of that salary becomes fully guaranteed. So if the Bears decided, they want actually any of the things that we're talking about is not up their alley and they want to actually do something real freaky and create some cap space. And, Montez Sweat, his name has been bandied out there a little bit. So, stay tuned.
I don't think we're in a position to lose Montez yet. I know Bears Nation gets down on him because, we want him to be an elite pass rusher. Montez is still a very effective player. But another double-digit sack season. And actually, that contract isn't looking that bad anymore. You said 20. Yeah, that's not bad at all. $21 million for a guy giving you double-digit sacks. That's about the going rate.
So out of the players I named, in fact, if I didn't name anybody, is anybody else out there that's may become available that you would be interested in for the Bears?
There are guys that become available that I would like in a rotation. Like, I wouldn't mind bringing back Khalil Mack to give me some snaps, provided that, it's on a veteran discount. I wouldn't mind Bradley Chubb providing some depth. Guys that come in and give you 20 or 30 snaps. Veteran guys, they know how to play. They can still hold up well against the run. They can give you some pass rush. I wouldn't mind a Khalil Mack or a Bradley Chubb. I know Jalen Phillips has a lot of ability, but I don't know. He's just a guy that's you're going to pay a lot for him, and you haven't seen a lot yet out of him, if that makes sense. So, do you want to pay this guy because he's on the free agent market? He's around 26, former first round pick. Do you want to pay this guy because the NFL is all about setting the market, resetting the market? Do you want to pay a guy whose agent is probably going to be asking for him to be paid around what Montez Sweat is making? Maybe a little more. Do you really want to pay a guy like that much money when you haven't seen a complete season of high-level pass rushing? We've seen it in spurts out of Jalen Phillips, but we haven't seen it to that level where it's there was a reason why Miami traded him. Teams don't give up young edge rushers unless they can't pay them or they're stupid. They can't pay them, they're stupid, or they're rebuilding, And Miami, yeah, they're rebuilding, but you see the Browns haven't given up on Garrett. And they're in a perpetual state of rebuild. So edge rushers, those are guys you hang on to. So Jalen, would he be an upgrade over Austin Booker? Probably. But does he outplay Austin? But enough where, he takes over that edge rushing spot opposite of Montez and gives us the pass rush we need? I don't know. Austin Booker right now is a much better value. You're in year 3 of the Booker experience, and this guy has been able to start for you, and he's getting paid under $1 million. Nate Chain is a very interesting name that's been bandied about. I don't know if the Dolphins will really trade him. We know the Dolphins are rebuilding, retooling. You bringing in a new coach. Tua's going to be gone. You're not in position to draft a franchise quarterback because there's really only one name that's associated with being a franchise quarterback in the upcoming draft. Could Devon A. Chain be had? Yeah, and it might be a little costly. If there's one running back that I'd be willing to send a second or third for, it's that guy. Listen, I know you're. Listen, years ago, me and you both scratched our heads. I think we were recording that draft live when the Lions took Jahmyr Gibbs at 14. He has been worth every bit of 14 when he was in the Ben. He was productive last year, but in the last year of Ben Johnson, he was extremely explosive. Just imagine Devon A. Chain, who's actually a tick faster than Jahmyr Gibbs in a Ben Johnson scheme. That could be ugly. That could be that.
I made that face for a couple of reasons. One, second round pick for a running back.
I get why you made that
one.
face. I get it.
But there's another one.
I mean, that'd be one of those where, God forbid, he gets hurt. you're gonna want to fire.
He's done that before.
Fire me and Post. Me for suggesting and Post for executing.
Another thing is, yeah, the Lions did just trade Montgomery, but there's a thing in the NFL about re-signing your own running backs. And Jahmyr Gibbs is going to command top of the market type money as a running back.
Ready to cash out a lot. He's going to be heading into this. Going to be year 4 for him.
Yeah.
Oh, it's time to talk. He's at that table right now.
And I do know that Brad Holmes, general manager for the Detroit Lions, he likes to re-sign his own guys. But that guy might be the guy that they say, you know what, we're going to take our chances doing this all over again in the draft. You never know. Never know.
Are you
so if we give up a second for A-Chan, and then Jahmyr Gibbs comes available next year?
Yeah. Are you in the camp of, how do you feel about giving running backs that second contract?
You got to be special. And when I say special, I mean Adrian Peterson level special.
Saquon,
because
Gibbs, those type guys.
I'm not even putting Saquon in that conversation because Saquon, I'd have told him to get the road. I would have said I would have been just like the Giants. I'd have had egg on my face. Yes, but there has been no reason I'm giving you a contract. All you did was sit in the IR the whole time you was on my squad.
I mean, here's the thing. I know people like to say the Giants had egg on their face. What would Saquon have changed about the Giants?
Nothing.
Except for put them deeper in a cap hole. There was no reason. Saquon ended up where he was at, and that was a good fit for him, the best fit possible. He could have went back to the Giants and been a 1,300-yard runner, and that would have been disappointing because they would have still won 5 games. There was no reason for the Giants to re-sign him. I think the stupid thing was when they went and talked about it, they sounded like asses. They sounded like asshats talking about Saquon and Daniel Jones. But they didn't do the wrong thing. They executed wrong, as both teams from New York did, because you should have traded him when he had value. There was no reason to let him leave for nothing in free agency. That was the flaw that the Giants had, but there was nothing Saquon could have did for that team.
I agree, man. Not at all. I'd have let bro Walt and been happy with it. I'd have tried to trade him, but money more than quarterbacks. It is what it is. All right. So we did all this talking about how the Bears can improve themselves in the offseason, primarily doing trades, primarily during free agency acquisitions. We got a little creative, but the best way to improve your team, to make it a consistent contender, is to do it in the draft. Q, the first step of the NFL draft for the next era of players is already in the books, the NFL Combine. You love this time of the year. You love Senior Bowls. You love Shrine Bowls. Right. All right. So the biggest question you have coming out of the Combine, because the one I have is, why was Arkansas so bad? But what do you have? What was your lasting imprint coming out of the Combine now?
Why so many guys just didn't participate in some of the events, and I get it. That 40, that can make or break you. It's crazy how hyper fixated we've gotten on the 40-yard dash, because it absolutely propels guys to draft positions they don't deserve. And I mean that both ways, not to pick on them. This time of year last year we were talking wide receivers, and I liked Luther Burden and I liked Isaiah Bond. Matthew Golden was a guy I looked at, but I think I said, even though he absolutely flew in the 40-yard dash in the combine, he didn't play like a 4.2 guy at Texas. I didn't think he should be picked over Luther Burden. I didn't have a top 20 grade on him at all. And yet he ran a 4.2, and people looked at his marginal, they looked past his marginal production at Texas, and the Packers took him top 20. Carnell Wright has been ultra productive at Ohio State, and he ran a 4.53. That's not even slow. And now they're talking about sliding him down the draft board. Puka Nacua ran a 4.6, arguably the best receiver in the game. I think Jackson Smith and Jigba ran around the same time Carnell Tate ran, 4.49 to 4.41, and is the best receiver. So the thing is, the hyperfixation on the 40-yard dash is like one of the biggest things I took away. As far as, are you asking me like player wise, what I took from this? Sonny Styles. I know you asked me before the show a couple weeks ago when we were going to break down the combine. Who was I looking at? Who would I like to be in a Bears uniform? I would love Sonny Styles to be in a Bears uniform. And I knew it was a long shot going into the combine, but there's no doubt. I mean, the kid looks like Brian Urlacher 2.0 with the, I mean, this is better than Brian Urlacher's combine. So Sonny Styles, man, and we just talked about the linebacker position being devalued, but that guy might be the first off-ball linebacker we've seen in a while to go top 5. Who's the last off-ball linebacker to get drafted top 5?
How did old boy from Georgia go last year?
Ooh, Jalen Walker?
Yeah.
He went after us. He dropped all the way to like 15, and he's a hybrid, off ball and edge. And in the Falcon system, he's playing edge.
The Falcons got him and Pierce? Damn.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
I don't know if they'll have Pierce. Pierce might be in the Fulton County Jail soon. I don't see how that boy gets out of this one. I've seen lots of debates. Oh, he'll be back. I don't know. Them charges looking ugly, and a suspension is
Yeah.
looming.
Oh yeah. That suspension is gonna be hefty. My boy. Okay. Yeah, it's been a while. You're right. Sonny Styles, he did show out. A couple of, you talked about 40s. 40s can get you a lot of money. Mike Washington. I told you, man, how was Arkansas so bad with all these? They had players at the combine getting bread. It was getting money. Mike Washington, 6'1", 223, 4.33 in the 40.
Was he made in a lab? That doesn't even sound like a realistic.
Unfair.
You know, I haven't watched a lot of Mike Washington film. I'm definitely gonna watch it because, like you said, I don't understand how Arkansas had all these guys that are gonna be drafted and just could not win football games.
That was one school that showed out. Notre Dame. I think we already knew what was happening. Jeremiah Love.
Nothing surprised me.
He put on the show.
It didn't. Yeah.
Jadarian Trent.
I thought Jadarian would run a little bit faster, but he didn't lose any money. 4.49, and I think, what did he measure at? Because 5'11", 203. He was a little lighter than I thought he would be. I thought he was gonna come in at 215, 220. I thought he was gonna run a tick faster, but running sub 4.5 as a running back, that'll get it done.
I mean, Josh Jacobs, he ran a 4.6 to combine, and he's still one of the top guys. But if you can go 4.5, your name will get called. Yeah. Maybe not first round. You got to do something like Jeremiah Love to get first round. Mike Washington might be in the first round too. I'm gonna go right back to Mike Washington.
He was not on anybody's radar as one of the top 3 running backs until that combine.
Are we seeing a new era of running backs resurgence in the league? I mean, because it's been a few years. Remember, we went like 10 years, no running backs going in the top round. Now, in the last 5 years, it's becoming a thing.
10. Jeremiah Love, we should see him go top 10. Last year, Jonty went number 6. We saw Bijan go number 8. We saw Gibbs go 14. So, what did Amarion have to go last year? 19, 20? Somewhere around there?
He was around there.
Yeah, so we saw 2 guys picked in the first round last year. I thought there could be a third with Junkins, but Junkins and Travion went right at the top of the second round. So we are seeing a resurgence of the running back. I remember there was a year, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think the first running back was taken to the end of the second round recently in one of these years. Yeah, I think we are seeing a resurgence of the running back. We've seen, and I think after what Kenneth Walker did in the Super Bowl, being Super Bowl MVP, I think that really sets up the running backs well into this draft too.
We had our targets coming into the draft, coming into the combine. You already talked about Sonny Styles. You was interested in him. What about some of the other guys that they went out to the combine that the Bears that looked like they could be potential targets for the Bears? How did they perform?
So I remember we talked about the safety from Oregon, Dylan Dynaman. He ran 4.35. I knew he was a pretty good
Bye bye,
athlete.
bye bye.
Yeah, I knew he was a pretty good athlete. I thought he was going to run in the 4.45 to 4.5 range. This is so. I don't know if this is racist or just stereotyping, but they've already got the Vikings taking him at 18 to be Harrison Smith's backup. They got the same buzz.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised the Eagles aren't taking him.
I saw one that had the Eagles taking him too. That's the funny thing. I guess what's the safety, the white safety from the Eagles? He's going to be leaving.
There's two things they like come draft time. They like Georgia Bulldogs and aggressive whites.
Aggressive white DBs that look like Illinois State
Troopers.
Yeah, and Dylan looks like one of those. His name is Dylan. He definitely Reed Blankenship. That's who I'm thinking of. Reed
Blinken.
Blankenship.
Okay.
So it's funny because I see the Vikings and Eagles mock to take Dylan Steineman, but he's one that I really liked come draft day. He performed well. I still don't know. Safety is another position where teams are hesitant to take those guys too early. So if he can make it past the Eagles and Vikings, which I don't think he will, like you said, he's a guy I've been interested in at 25. And that's dependent on what we do with Kevin Byard and Jaquan Brisker. But sign him in. He played in the Big Ten. He shows excellent range. He'll hit. He shows good instincts on run defense. Kind of takes some bad angles, but I think he can be coached out of that. That's a guy I like. Caden McDonald, big interior lineman. We've talked ad nauseum, unfortunately, about the Bears' run defense. This is a guy that requires a double team. He's not a guy who is a very polished pass rusher. He's around 330 pounds. It's going to be hard for him to get to quarterbacks, especially in the age of a lot of mobile quarterbacks. But he's a guy that shows good lateral quickness, good lateral movements. He's an absolute run stuffer. So I think he didn't perform as well in the combine. I don't think they liked the size he came in. He looks like he could be a day 2 pick. If he's there in the second round, I'd definitely take him. I think at 25, that's probably a little too early to take him now, just because of the slide. Even though I think he could be a good player, I just think you got to look at the value of your pick, and if you want him, you either wait till the second round, or you trade down and get him, or trade up.
There's a couple of guys out there. You talked about Caden McDonald. You talked about Dylan Thiemann. Those guys are, as of right now, coming right after the combine. I think those are pie in the sky guys. I think they might not be there at 25. But here's some other players that I was interested in. Zion Young. I'm not fond of Zion's, but if he's available, around 25, I wouldn't be mad at that. 265 pounds. He measured in at the combine. He's got a good arm length. He's got the strength. He did really good in the bench press. He might be good. TJ Parker from Clemson. He had a good Senior Bowl. But here's the other guy, Mason Thomas out of Oklahoma, edge rusher. I think he's one of the top edge rushers in this draft, and this is a good draft for edge rushers.
It is, and they all look good at the combine. But I mean, those guys ran well. They came in shape.
Mm-hmm.
The Bears got a hole of edge, and This looks like this is a good year where you might be able to get a guy who can come in and make an impact year one at 25 or even into the round or even in the round two, because you got no shot at Arvell Reese, Bailey. I think even though Bain maybe may not have the measurables that everybody wants, Bain is still going top 10. I think Malachi Lawrence from UCF, I think he ran his way out of out of the 25 range with a 4.52. So I like Cassius Howe. And problem with Howe, I know the size and the arm length is gonna scare some people off. I think he's 6'1" or 6'2", and the arms are like T-Rex style arms. They're 30 inches. But man, you put on his tape and he's just got an array of pass rush moves, the agility, the bend. I mean, he comes around the corner and he can dip that shoulder and get low. It almost reminded me of Robert Quinn, another guy who was a edge rushing aficionado. So I don't know if Dennis Allen, Dennis Allen kind of likes the long edge rushers. So
Mm.
I don't know if Cash Howell will fit into what the Bears do scheme wise, but any guy that can get to the quarterback, I'm interested in. I think you have to prioritize getting to the quarterback over necessarily just scheme. If it's about how you feel to run up, he'll hold up and run support, have that guy on third downs or in obvious pass downs. I think the Bears are going to be the type of team where they're protecting leads. So when you're protecting leads, you're looking at teams throw the ball a lot. You can have a guy like Cassius Howell on the field because you're not going to be facing a lot of running.
While I did say that, guys named Zion aren't particularly my favorite type of athletes, but you do know who my favorite type of athletes are right about now. I'm loving the Caleb's. I've had a lot of good sports relationships with Caleb's.
Shout out Caleb Williams, shout out UNC.
Shout out Caleb Williams, shout out Caleb Wilson, shout out Caleb Haney, shout out Caleb Love, all those guys. And before the combine, I was thinking a different Caleb might not be available come 25, but after the combine, you had guys like Sonny Styles and Mike Washington and the rest. And, maybe they shot up some boards, and so maybe Caleb Lomu might be available. Like come 25. The Bears need a left tackle in the worst way. No disrespect to Ozzy, but it's a dirty
It ain't
business,
sounding
bro.
good.
It ain't. But if the Bears can luck up and get Caleb Lomu as a top first round left tackle, I mean that'll solve some shit.
There are a couple tackles that might slip to 25. How do you feel about Proctor? I know he's projected as a right tackle. I haven't got too much in the tape. He shows good punch. Obviously, he's a big, dominant guy. He's 350 pounds. Shows good punch.
Mhm.
He gets out on the edge rushers quickly. He's got a good slide step. Could he fill in at left tackle? Is the question.
We've done it before. We put a right tackle over there before and had good success.
Ozzie was a right tackle out of a nerd school.
Mm.
Proctor's a better prospect than Ozzie was. That's undeniable. So if we were able to convert Ozzie to left, I don't see why you can't convert Proctor. We know Proctor can come in and be a good right tackle. Would you have any interest in flipping Darnell Wright to the left side, or do you just leave an all pro guy where he's at?
No, 365 days ago, yes. But now that Darnell is an all pro, I'm gonna let the all pro stay where he at.
Okay.
Continue building on that. Continue building on the right side, and keep throwing other all pro defensive edges into the air. And keep throwing them.
I'm not with moving Darnell. Although I think he could play left tackle. He's dominant at right tackle, and I'll take dominant over solid any day. We'll figure it out at left
You know what I mean?
tackle.
Both. Yeah. I take the dominant over solid any other day. I prefer leaving a dominant right tackle right where he's at. I prefer taking that dominant backup quarterback that we have, that everybody wants us to believe that we have, and flipping him for some
Speaking of
more
speaking of
pieces.
365 days ago, can you believe that 365 days ago it was a debate among the Bears faithful who should start at quarterback?
I do I can't believe it. I remember it, and even though I love my Bears, I love the Bears, I love Bears Nation, but Bears Nation is as
Meathead.
stupid as the
Meatheads.
meatheads. They're as stupid as half the country who votes.
Yeah. And that's how we were in a debate over who should start between Tyson and Caleb. You
In
know what?
365 days from now, we're going to be in a debate about why were we in a war that we had no business in.
We could still be in that war.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I think, everybody's upset about voter ID. And I understand that. I want to take it a step further. Let's get voter IQ. If you can't pass a certain, you can't vote. Let's put mathematical equations. Let's put multiple choice. Let's have a standardized test. If you can't get a certain score, certain IQ test score, a certain standard, you can't vote.
Let's take it a step further. You can't vote if you can't pass that test, and you can't be on the message boards talking about who should start for the Bears. Bear down.
Bear down.
Thanks for listening to this latest episode from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Channel. Don't matter if you listen to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or watch it on Twitch or YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend, hit the notification bell so you never miss a drop. And to all the guys from Chicago, we say three things: bear down, go Cubs go, and sell the team, Jerry.